Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela and I am currently in London for the next 2 days. I'm going to be staying here with my best friend Katie, and if you watched our last vlog, you know that we just flew over from Edinburgh where we were for the past 5 days, and now we're going to be here in London for 2 more days, and then we're going to be heading off to Amsterdam the day after tomorrow. So we just arrived in London. We flew into London City Airport, which I've never flown into before. It's one of the smaller ones, I think, because we were flying domestic, and so we took the train over to our Airbnb where we're staying right now. We're staying near Caledonian Road. It's like one station past King's Cross station, but it's still like very easy to access everything in the main city center. So we're gonna be heading out very soon. Right now it is like 7:30. We just got to our Airbnb. It's just like a room in a condo, and we were supposed to stay at a different Airbnb, but that guy unfortunately had to cancel on us last minute. So we ended up getting this place comped, which means that we may or may not be spending some more money during this trip because it feels like free money. Anyways, this is the room, and then there's a washroom outside, kitchen, living room, all of that, which is great, but we're only gonna be here for 2 days, so we're probably not gonna be in the room too much. We are very excited to check out London. It's Katie's first time here, which is exciting, but I've been here before, like over 5 years ago, so it's been a while, but I'm still very excited to be here to check out London, see what there is to see that's new, and try all the good food places that I didn't get to try last time. So we are about to head out and take the tube into probably Piccadilly Circus and check out Covent Garden, Soho, that area for tonight, because that's where it's usually most bustling, I think, for dinner time. We're gonna grab a meal somewhere in town and then come back to the Airbnb. Tomorrow we'll wake up early and do a lot of exploring for the full day, and then the day after we have pretty much the whole day. Our flight is in the evening, so we will hopefully get to explore all of London and eat some really good food. So I'll take you along with us, and let's head out.
We started our London adventures by taking the tube from Caledonian Road Station all the way over to Piccadilly Circus, which is a popular tourist destination in the West End with lots of big signs and billboards similar to Times Square. From there, we walked down Shaftesbury Avenue towards Chinatown, passing a lot of different theaters on the way. Chinatown was beautifully decorated with lots of lanterns hanging overhead, and it was super popular and bustling with lots of people walking around with us. After exploring Chinatown a bit, we walked through Soho to get to Circolo Popolare, which is a super famous Italian restaurant, to try to snag a spot. Unfortunately, when we got there around 8:30 p.m., they told us that all of the tables were booked out a month in advance. However, the host told us that if we came back around 9:45, we might be able to snag a seat after all of the reservations were finished. So since we weren't too hungry, we did some exploring of Soho and then came back at 9:45, and luckily we were able to grab a seat and order their margarita pizza and their mushroom pasta to share. They were both really delicious, and not to mention the restaurant is absolutely gorgeous and super Instagrammable. We also got their lemon meringue pie for dessert, which was a real treat and so much fun. But this is what the restaurant looked like, and I would definitely recommend trying to get a reservation for here if you can.
Hello, morning. It is day 2 of our time here in London. We just woke up and got ready. It's about 9, and we are going to head out for our day. Our plan for now is to go head over to Duck and Waffle to try their brunch because we heard it's iconic, and then we're gonna head over to like Tower Bridge, Borough Market, a couple of other places. So I'll take you along with us for our second day and our first full day of exploring, and let's see what we get up to.
We started our morning by taking the tube to the east side of London to Liverpool Street Station, which is in the financial district, and walked over to the Salesforce Tower. Located on the 40th floor of the Salesforce Tower is the Duck and Waffle restaurant, so we got to take the elevator all the way up and enjoy the beautiful views of the city from above. Because we didn't make a reservation in advance, we got seated at their bar area, but still got to try all of their famous items, including their waffle on the rocks cocktail, which came with a little piece of waffle and a little pipette of maple syrup. We also ordered their duck and waffle because that's the name of the restaurant, and Katie ordered the wannabe duck and waffle, which was the vegan version of the dish that was made of mushroom instead. The food was super tasty and the views were spectacular, but I'm just not sure if it was worth the hefty price we paid. After our breakfast, we walked down to the Tower of London, which is a historic castle, royal palace, and an infamous prison. Due to time and budget constraints, however, we didn't go inside, but we did get to walk around and see the impressive fortress from the outside. We also saw the famous Tower Bridge beside it and walked across it, learning about the history of the bridge along the way. Once we got to the other side, we made a quick stop to explore King's College London campus before heading over to Borough Market, which is a huge and historic market which dates all the way back to the 12th century. This is by far the biggest food market I've ever been to, I think, and we took our time exploring the many stalls and seeing all the amazing foods that were on offer. Honestly, I could have spent a whole day there just exploring and trying all of the different unique food vendors, so this is definitely a must visit if you're in London. This place was super packed, so we made sure to watch our belongings so that we didn't get pickpocketed. Afterwards, we walked over to Hayes Galleria to take some photos with the beautiful building and their iconic red telephone booths, as well as with the river just outside, before we made our way to the Shard, which is the tallest building in the UK. Located in the Shard is the iconic and luxurious Shangri-La Hotel, which is where we made a reservation for afternoon tea at the Ting restaurant on the 35th floor of the building. Included in the afternoon tea set is unlimited tea, so you can try as many different types of tea as you want, as well as a variety of different finger sandwiches, scones, sweet treats, and even their signature mini Shard building dessert. All of the bites and teas were delicious, as to be expected, and they even crafted the little sweet treats to be London themed, which I loved. It was definitely a pricey experience, as with most afternoon tea, but I would definitely recommend it for any special occasions. Honestly, my favorite part of the experience might have been the washrooms, because they had incredible views of the city and were probably the nicest washrooms I've ever been in. After our fantastic afternoon tea, we walked over to the world-renowned Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, where you can watch a play or take a tour and learn about the rich history of the theater. Right next door is the Tate Modern Art Gallery, which is free to visit for most of the exhibitions. We walked around and explored the modern and contemporary art from artists all around the world, and there was so much to see and experience. After exploring the Tate Modern, we walked across the Millennium Bridge, which is a pedestrian-only suspension bridge that takes us straight towards St. Paul's Cathedral, which is a stunning, iconic feature of the London skyline. From there, we took an iconic red double-decker bus to Covent Garden, which is a shopping and entertainment hub in London's West End. It is full of market stalls, shops, bars, and restaurants, and is overall such a fun and bustling area that I remembered very clearly from my last trip to London over 5 years ago. Since we were in the West End and Katie and I are huge fans of theater, we decided to go and try to find some cheap last-minute tickets for a musical. We visited a few box offices before deciding on Matilda, and luckily snagged 2 tickets an hour before the show started. Since we were on a bit of a time crunch, we walked over to Seven Dials Market, which is a nearby food hall with over 20 different vendors, but we knew that we wanted to try the famous cheese bar we saw on TikTok, which is essentially a conveyor belt sushi restaurant that serves cheese instead of sushi. You basically just grab whatever cheese you want, and there's a whole menu that describes what the different cheese options are, what the prices are, and they're all numbered and paired with a different ingredient. So we grabbed a few different cheeses off of the belt to try, and we also ordered the burrata off of the menu, which were all super tasty, and this was the perfect speedy meal before our musical. If you love cheese, this is definitely a must try when you're in London. Afterwards, we hopped back over to the theater to watch Matilda. It was my first time watching this production, and I was truly blown away by the talent of this cast, especially by the children, who were just incredible performers. After the show, we decided to grab a quick drink, so I googled popular bars nearby and decided to check out Cahoots. However, when we arrived and walked around the bar, I was severely disappointed by the menu, which had been hyped up on Google reviews as having incredible cocktails, but the ones on the menu were super limited. And then we read a line on the menu that said there was an underground cocktail bar, which is what all of the reviews that I had read were for. So we went looking for it, and luckily they had 2 spots at the bar for us, which was perfect. Turns out this cocktail bar is hidden in an unused underground station with 2 different platforms and even a life-size tube carriage. This bar had a great atmosphere, decor, and drinks, and I would highly recommend checking it out in London, but make sure that you find the underground bar and don't go to the ticket hall like we did.
It's day 3, our last day here in London, and we are currently heading out. We just checked out of our Airbnb, left our stuff there, and we are gonna go on an adventure to go check out a couple things. Hopefully first stop is gonna be Buckingham Palace to see the changing of the guards.
We started off our rainy 3rd day in London by taking the tube over to Buckingham Palace, which is the official royal residence of the king, who, if you watched our last vlog, we actually saw in Edinburgh a few days prior. We specifically timed our visit so that we could hopefully watch the changing of the guard, but unfortunately it was just not available that day, so we ended up exploring the outside and taking photos with the palace before we head over to the King's Gallery next door, which is an art gallery that exhibits works of art from the royal collection on a rotating basis. They also have a very fun gift shop there that I would highly recommend checking out if you want some fun royal memorabilia. Afterwards, we were feeling a little peckish, so we walked over to the market halls near Victoria Station to try one of their many food stalls available. Most of them, however, were closed as we were there early in the morning, so we ended up grabbing a quick breakfast from Egg Slut. We just tried one of their sandwiches, their hash browns, and a matcha latte, which was really yummy. And then we head over to our next stop of the day, which is a very special perfume shop called Jo Loves, which is founded by the famous Jo Malone, who sold her initial brand to Estee Lauder, but then opened up this new store, which feels a lot more personal and is inspired by a lot of her early memories. After chatting with the lovely saleswoman and buying some perfumes, we continued our shopping day as we walked down Sloane Street, which was full of luxury stores, and then we walked over to Harrods, which is a humongous luxury department store in Knightsbridge that sells over 3,000 brands on its 8 floors, I believe, that has over 1 million square feet. Harrods is truly amazed, and it's honestly so overstimulating because they just sell every possible thing you can think of. They have food, books, flowers, clothing, obviously, perfume, makeup, everything that you could possibly think of, including these crazy expensive bottles of alcohol. So if you are in London and have some time to kill, highly recommend checking out Harrods. For lunch, we went to Marouche, which is a Lebanese restaurant, as we were craving some Middle Eastern food, but we weren't that hungry, so we ended up sharing the lunch platter, which included a mixed selection of 6 starters, as well as 2 skewers of the chicken shish toke, which was really yummy, but honestly not a super memorable meal in my opinion. After lunch, we walked over to South Kensington Station to catch the tube over to Westminster Station to do a quick, speedy sightseeing run to see some of the key London landmarks in that area, including the Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, and the London Eye. Unfortunately, we were on a little bit of a time crunch because we needed to head back to our Airbnb to grab our luggage and go to the airport, so we didn't get to learn too much about the history of these landmarks, but we'll definitely have to come back to London for that. Afterwards, on our way back to the Airbnb, we made a quick stop on our way at King's Cross Station to check out the famous 9 3/4 platform, which is from Harry Potter, but unfortunately when we got there was a crazy long line, so we didn't get to take the photo, but we did get to see it from the side and then took a look at the little Harry Potter gift shop next to it before we head over to the airport to catch our flight.
Is much later in the day. It is almost midnight, but we have made it to Amsterdam. Found our hotel, which was a whole mess, but was a really fun 48 hours in London. It was my second time in London. It was so nice to see it again after so many years. I think it's been like over 5 years, so I'm glad that we got to see a bunch of the touristy things and check out some really amazing food places. It was so much fun. To wrap up, I just want to give my thoughts on London. A couple of things to keep in mind if you're gonna gonna be traveling there, number one, there's pretty much free Wi-Fi everywhere. Second thing, to take the public transportation, all you need to do is like tap on with your contactless payment, and so you don't need to buy tickets or anything, which makes life way easier. Oh yeah, watch your stuff, because the pickpocketers, like, we saw them in action the second we got to London, because we dropped off our stuff, and then that night when we were heading into the city, we're taking the Piccadilly tube, we're standing there and it like got a little bit busy, and we saw two pickpocketers scoping people's stuff out. I'll put the video here. I took a video of them because they were being sus, but they were literally like eyeing people's things, like looking in people's tote bags, and I was watching them. I was like, these people are so sketchy. So we were very, very careful with all of our stuff. I put my purse on my shoulder and then I put my jacket over it so that people really couldn't reach it. Just watch your stuff. There's a lot of pickpocketers and we saw it in action. Definitely make reservations if you can. We saw like the Dishoom line. When we went to Dishoom in Edinburgh, no line, like just go in. But the Dishoom line was like out the door and like down the street. So make reservations if you're gonna be trying to eat at any of the popular places in London. The food is freaking amazing. There's so many cool places to eat there. We just went to a couple of places, but there's so many more on my list. It was a speed run of everything and I would love to stay for longer, but that's the time that we had, so we made full use of it, which is great. We stayed with our lovely Airbnb hosts, Sonia and Marcus, and it was a great stay. A little bit further outside of like the main downtown area, because originally we had booked an Airbnb for Covent Garden, so it's a little bit further out, but it was on the Piccadilly line, which made things super easy to get into the main attractions and all of that. That was our 48 hours in London. Thank you for coming along with us to Explore. If you want my list of all of the things that I had pinned originally for London and all of the popular restaurants, leave a comment down below and I will send that link to you to my Google Maps. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos. The next one is going to be in Amsterdam, which is where I am right now, as I am here to see Taylor Swift at her Eras Tour concert, which I am so excited for, but you gotta wait until the next vlog for that, so I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!